We are kicking off December with all the joy of Christmas, taking a peek at the lighting of the Christmas tree at the Shangri-La. It was an exciting evening, as you can see, with the Shangri-La pulling out all the stops to celebrate the month of December. They don't call it the most wonderful time of the year for nothing. Here's General Manager Savithri Rodrigo about what's special at the Shangri-La this year.
December is very special. It's a month of celebrations, a month so definitely you meet with family and friends. And this year, definitely the theme we wanted to have is about environment. We want to make sure that Sri Lanka has a wonderful biodiversity, and we definitely wanted to play our part. And you can see on the decor that the peacock definitely is our star of the festive season.
A big thank you to the partners on our show who share the Christmas spirit. Skills for Inclusive Growth and Australian Aid, Srilanka Life, CDB, The Morning Newspaper, Park Street Gourmet and Zip Zip. Thank you. And if you like Kaleidoscope, subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn.
Did you know you can open a digital fixed deposit with just 5,000 rupees? Open a CDB iDeposit digital fixed deposit today. CDB, your friend.
We take a look at the week that was on CDB Snapshot. Sri Lanka's government revenue nets 1 trillion rupees in the first 7 months of the year, reflecting a growth of 37%. The government's debt, on the other hand, nears the 25 trillion rupee mark, with outstanding domestic debt surpassing 13 trillion. Bloomberg gives us some good news, with a report that Sri Lanka's inflation will cool down to about 4 to 5% by end of 2023 after topping nearly 70% this year. Exports top $11 billion in the first 10 months but dips by over 8%. Monthly tourist arrivals crossed the 50,000 mark for the first time since April. Sri Lanka's tea production for October 2022 decreased by 22.4% year-on-year for the first 10 months, the lowest since 1995. And in FIFA news, Morocco's win over Belgium triggers riots in Brussels. A new way to die, French undertaker rides a bicycle hearse in Paris to promote green funerals.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
And welcome to Srilanka Life News Capsule. Economists have predicted that Sri Lanka will be heading towards a recession next year. But while this is inevitable, Sri Lanka can avert some of the fall if some things are put into place sooner rather than later. K.D. Vimanga conducts public policy and political analysis and has worked at the think tank Advocata Institute. He visited the studio for a brief chat. Sri Lanka is predicted to go into a recession next year. What do you think?
So Savithri, I think we've been having this crisis for a long time, and the recession is a continuation of that. And this might go on for the next 2 to 3 or even probably the five years. So I think what we really need to focus on is how we are going to make a clear strategic recovery. And I think that will take a lot of effort, and also giving priority to policy considerations and macroeconomic stabilization.
Do you have any idea how we are going to get out of it?
As I think the president has highlighted, we need to think long term. It has to be strategic, probably look at the next 25 years. And there are 2 components. One is building FDI, and secondly is getting rid of your state-owned enterprises. I think those 2 have to be the key policy priorities going forward.
So you mentioned FDI. Now, this conversation has been going on for decades, but we never seem to get our recipe right in getting more FDIs while our competitor countries are doing very well. What is the reason for that?
Yes, I think that is primarily because we've been focusing on old policies, having the BOI looking after your free trade zones. I think this is our best opportunity to get East Asian players who have skin in the game, get them to run your free trade zones and build and bring in those dollar investments in. I think secondly, again, privatization. It has to be a private sector led initiative, and I think that's the only way we'll come out of this crisis.
And now for a look at our markets. The All Share Price Index moved up by 6.2% and the average daily turnover reached a healthy 6.3 billion rupees. WTI oil prices moved up at the beginning of this week but settled down to $80 per barrel as uncertainty lingered ahead of Sunday's OPEC Plus meeting. Gold, meanwhile, hit a two-week high of $1,775 per ounce as a weaker US dollar and expectations of smaller interest rate hikes in the US spurred demand. In Budapest, Hungarians are pedaling a bicycle to power a Christmas tree. Children and adults are invited to pedal the bike, which also powers all the lights around Budapest Square. Now that's what you call a green Christmas. The annual Guinness World Records Day on the theme Super Skills saw people do some of the craziest stunts. Two highlights: London-based performance artist Amazi broke the record for the most hula hoops spun while on stilts, and contortionist Liberty Barros completed the fastest 20-meter back-bend knee lock by walking 20 meters with her body bent backwards in 22 seconds. So if you'd like to read 4 times faster, then all you have to do is join the program, the speed reading program with Sanjay. Just let us know and we'll gift you a program free. Up next is S4IG Let's Talk, and today we chat with Savithri Selvaratnam, founder of Husk and co-founder of Little Trees Nursery. Preschool education is when children absorb knowledge the most, when skills are honed and senses are sharpened. But not all children are fortunate to have those benefits at preschool level due to various social and economic disadvantages. Savithri Selvaratnam was born and lived all his life in the United Arab Emirates. He left his job as a racehorse trainer because he felt he needed to do something for the country where he had family, and so he left that job and came to Sri Lanka. He founded Husk, a platform for social reform, animal welfare, clean water and environmental action. And the Little Trees Nursery, a preschool in Mannar that works with the community, for the community, to build the community, to assuage some of the lacunas that he saw firsthand. Welcome, Savithri. What an exciting project you have. What is it that you saw in Mannar that made you actually start off this preschool project?
Well, I went to visit Mannar in 2020. I went to see Bridging Lanka's founder, Jeremy Lianage. When I met Jeremy, I was really taken aback by what they are doing there. I mean, the level of poverty during lockdown especially was terrible. And when we did visit there, it was clear that there was something that needed to be done to help the community from the foundation. And our vision was to build a preschool and help them right from the bottom.
So Savithri, why a preschool?
It's the best way of uniting children, first of all. You know, children are fresh, young minds into this world. And in a community that has been through so much, it's important that we unite the children and have a chance to unite different communities and different religions, racial backgrounds from that foundation. And teaching children to have more imagination, more light in their life. You know, it's very hard in a society that's so stagnant, that is of Mannar, unfortunately, Mannar Island.
So when you first saw the community, what is it that struck you most?
Unproductivity. I mean, there was lack of anything. When we visited during lockdown, it was just people standing around hungry, not knowing what to do with their lives, you know, not knowing how to use themselves or how to be productive. And that was really scary to see, because it was almost dystopian to see people just standing around and not knowing what to do with themselves. And I think that really hit us in, you know, sending a message, and we have to do something. You know, it's one part of Sri Lanka that I think has gone widely forgotten.
I know you started this project before the economic crisis happened, and nevertheless you have lofty ambitions for the preschool. It is truly something unique. The design itself tells a story. What is different and how does it actually engage the entirety of the stakeholders?
Well, Watmi Fernando is the architect, and she has a beautiful vision for this building. She deconstructed the Manar fort that we have on the island, and she tried to make it a very playful approach. So seeing it from a child's eyes, it's a very simple, earthy building, and when you are in a child's eyes, you can see everything is at their level. There's spaces for imagination, for play, and the theme is playfulness. So it's to encourage playfulness in children and just to encourage that feeling of happiness and joy that should be put into all preschools, we think.
So I know you started this project a little before the economic crisis. Now, but yet it was quite an undertaking. What is the investment like now, and how are you getting your funding? How do you plan on taking it forward?
So we started an online fundraiser on an online platform called chuff.org. Chuff.org is a non-profit, and we launched our fundraiser on this platform, and we aim to raise around $60,000. We partnered with a Dutch charity called Little Leaders Foundation, and they are helping us run fundraising campaigns from Europe. Bridging Lanka is helping us from Australia. They're an NGO based in Australia as well.
So what made you give up your very lucrative career of training racehorses in the United Arab Emirates, coming here to start off a community project in Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka was always a place that's deep in my heart. You know, I love this country and I love the people, and whenever I came back here, I felt home. So when I finished my studies and I worked in racing, I didn't feel I was getting anything that I really wanted. You know, I didn't feel my passion enriched. So when I came back to Sri Lanka, and I just saw that, you know, there's so much you can do in this country, and there's so much hope here to be had, and for people to just, you know, take advantage of it. And yeah, I really think there's a bright future for this country, and I think more people need to come here and believe it.
Good luck with the project firstly, and good luck with your vision, because I think if there are more people like you, yes, Sri Lanka will be a better place to live in.
Thank you very much.
It's hampers galore at Park Street Gourmet this Christmas, with all the goodies that make your Christmas special. Pop into Park Street Gourmet and gift a luxurious hamper befitting the spirit of Christmas. It's December and everyone prepares for Christmas, don't they? On Park Street Gourmet, live in 60 today is Ishara Hasim, who runs Ishara School of Hobbycraft, and she showcases the talents of her students trained to become entrepreneurs through their craft work.
For this Christmas season, we have a range of Christmas decorations such as stockings, buntings, and lovely decoration for the Christmas trees. All these items made by me and my students. Ishara School of Hobbycraft offers a great opportunity for the students to open their pathway of income, such as to create their own craft items and get the income for them. Also, we can use recyclable materials such as old CDs, scrap fabrics such as small pieces. Also, you can use other fabric what we use for other purpose. Out of those remaining scrap pieces we can use.
No day is as perfect as Friday because the weekend is nigh. Enjoy it and see you next week.